There is a strange pressure that appears the moment life knocks you down. People expect you to cry for a while, gather yourself, and return to normal as if pain follows a schedule. They ask if you are doing better after only a few days. They smile when you say yes, even when both of you know it is not true. Somewhere along the way, being honest about not feeling okay started sounding like failure. You might know this feeling without realizing it. You wake up, check your phone, answer a few messages, and tell people you are fine because it is easier than explaining what is happening inside your head. The day keeps moving, but something feels heavy. Nothing dramatic happens. Nothing looks wrong from the outside, yet everything feels harder than it should. Most people think pain always has a clear reason. They expect a breakup, a funeral, losing a job, or some life-changing event. Sometimes you are simply tired of carrying things that never had a chance to leave your shoulders. Small disappointments pile up. Promises are broken. You keep adjusting. You keep understanding. You keep making room for everyone else until there is almost no room left for yourself. That kind of exhaustion does not arrive all at once. It grows slowly. It is like walking with a backpack that becomes a little heavier every single day. At first, you barely notice it. You keep walking because you think you can handle it. Months later, you wonder why every step feels difficult, forgetting that you have been carrying extra weight the entire time. People usually notice the moment you slow down, not the months you spent trying to stay strong. They see you cancel plans once, but they never saw the countless times you showed up when you wanted to stay home. They remember the day you lost your patience, but not the hundreds of days you stayed calm while dealing with things nobody knew about. That is why so many people begin to question themselves instead of questioning the pressure placed on them. They think they are weak because they finally reached their limit. They believe something is wrong with them because they cannot recover as quickly as everyone expects. They start comparing their private struggles to other people's public smiles, forgetting that most people only show the chapters they are comfortable sharing. Think about the last time someone asked how you were doing. There is a good chance you answered with one word. Fine, good, okay. Those words have become automatic. They save time. They avoid uncomfortable conversations. They protect other people from your honesty. After saying them enough times, you almost start believing them yourself. Many of the people around you are doing exactly the same thing. They are smiling in meetings while worrying about bills they cannot pay. They are laughing with friends while wondering if their relationship is quietly falling apart. They are posting happy photos while lying awake every night, hoping tomorrow feels different. Everyone becomes an expert at looking okay because looking okay is rewarded. Social media has made this even harder. Every scroll quietly tells you that someone is getting married, starting a business, traveling somewhere beautiful, buying a new house, or celebrating another achievement. You rarely see the arguments that happened before the picture. You rarely see the rejection emails, the sleepless nights, or the mornings when getting out of bed felt impossible. You compare your behind the scenes to someone else's carefully chosen moments, then wonder why your own life feels unfinished. The problem is not that people share happy moments. The problem is that your mind slowly forgets those moments are only a fraction of reality. After enough scrolling, ordinary life begins to feel like failure. A slow season starts looking like you are falling behind. Rest starts feeling like laziness. A bad week begins to feel like proof that everyone else has figured life out except you. Life has never moved at the same pace for everyone. Some people bloom early, others bloom much later. Some people seem confident because they learn to hide uncertainty well. Others openly admit they are struggling. Confidence and peace are not the same thing, and appearances have fooled people for generations. Perhaps the biggest misunderstanding about being okay is believing it should be permanent. People talk about healing as if one day you simply arrive and stay there forever. Real life rarely works that way. Some mornings you genuinely feel lighter. Then a familiar song plays, an old memory returns, or one unexpected conversation pulls you back into feelings you thought were gone. That does not mean you failed. The world celebrates people who recover quickly because quick stories are easier to understand. They fit into short conversations. They become inspiring posts. They make everyone comfortable. Slow healing does the opposite. It asks people to stay present longer than they want to. It reminds them that pain cannot always be solved with the right words. Maybe that is why so many people hide the parts of themselves that are still hurting. They are not afraid of the pain itself. They are afraid of becoming inconvenient. They worry that if they admit they are still struggling, people will become tired of listening. So they stay quiet. They keep performing wellness while privately wondering when they will finally feel like themselves again. Some seasons of life are meant to be survived before they are understood. You do not always get clear answers while you are living through them. Sometimes all you know is that everything feels heavier than it used to. That uncertainty can be frustrating because people naturally want explanations. They want reasons. They want timelines. Life rarely gives them. Hearing the words, "It is okay to not be okay right now," feels so different. Those words do not promise that everything will improve tomorrow. They do not pretend pain is beautiful. They simply remove the unnecessary pressure to perform strength when strength is the very thing you have been running out of. There is another reason people struggle to admit they are not okay. Somewhere along the way, being strong became confused with never needing help. People praise the person who keeps going, who never complains, who always finds a way to smile. They rarely stop to ask what that smile costs. They celebrate endurance without noticing the quiet damage it leaves behind. You can see this everywhere. The parent who keeps working after losing sleep for weeks. The employee who never takes a day off because they do not want to disappoint anyone. The student who says everything is under control while quietly falling apart after midnight. From the outside, they look dependable. From the inside, they are simply trying to make it through another day. People often notice your breakdown before they notice your effort. They remember the moment you cried, not the months you held yourself together. They remember the day you lost your patience, not the hundreds of times you stayed calm. It is easy to judge the crack in the wall. Very few people wonder how much pressure the wall had been carrying before it finally gave in. That is why so many people apologize for emotions they should never have been ashamed of. They say sorry for needing space. They say sorry for being quiet. They say sorry for not feeling like themselves. After enough apologies, they begin treating their own feelings like a burden instead of a normal part of being alive. It becomes even harder when someone tells you that other people have it worse. That sentence sounds comforting on the surface, but it often leaves people feeling guilty for hurting at all. Pain is not a competition. A person drowning in deep water is still drowning, even if someone else is standing in an ocean. Comparing suffering rarely heals it. It only teaches people to hide it. Think about a child who falls and scrapes a knee. An adult would never say that the injury should not hurt because someone else has a broken leg. The pain is still real to the child. Yet adults do this to themselves every day. They dismiss their own struggles because someone else appears to be carrying more. The mind has a habit of collecting unfinished moments. It remembers conversations that ended badly. It remembers opportunities that slipped away. It remembers words that were never said. Those memories do not always disappear just because time passes. Sometimes they stay hidden until an ordinary moment brings them back without warning. A familiar smell can remind you of someone you thought you had forgotten. A certain street can take you back to a version of yourself you believed no longer existed. A random photograph can reopen emotions you were certain had faded. Healing is rarely a straight road because memory does not move in a straight line. This is why some people become frustrated with themselves. They think they have gone backward. They wonder why something that happened years ago still hurts. They expect healing to erase the past. It does not. It changes your relationship with the past. There is a difference. You may still remember the difficult chapter, but eventually it stops controlling every page that comes after it. The memory remains, but it loses the power to decide who you become. That kind of change happens quietly. It does not arrive with dramatic speeches or life-changing mornings. Most of the time you only notice it after looking back and realizing something that once destroyed your entire week now only visits your thoughts for a few minutes. People often overlook these quiet victories because they are waiting for a dramatic transformation. They expect healing to feel like switching on a light. More often, it feels like the sun rising before dawn. The darkness does not disappear all at once. It slowly gives way to enough light for you to keep walking. There is another trap that keeps people stuck. They believe they must understand every emotion before allowing themselves to move forward. Some feelings simply refuse to explain themselves. You can spend months searching for the perfect reason and still come up empty. Not every wound arrives with a clear answer. Life is full of seasons that make sense only after they have passed. While you are living through them, everything feels confusing. Looking back years later, you realize those difficult months quietly changed the way you saw people, the way you treated yourself, and the things you were willing to accept. The lesson was growing long before you could name it. Perhaps that is why people who have suffered deeply often become gentler. They know what it feels like to carry invisible weight. They stop assuming that every smile tells the truth. They become slower to judge because they understand how little of another person's life is actually visible. You never really know what someone is carrying. The cashier who forgot to smile may have spent the night at a hospital. The friend who stopped replying may be fighting a battle they cannot explain. The coworker who seems distracted may be trying to hold together a family that is quietly falling apart. The world becomes softer when you remember that everyone has a story you cannot see. It reminds you that being okay has never been the standard for being worthy. People are worthy on their best days, and they are still worthy on the days when getting through the afternoon feels like an achievement. Worth was never supposed to depend on constant happiness. It only feels that way because the world has become uncomfortable with honest struggle. The greatest misunderstanding is believing that difficult seasons are interruptions to life. They are life. No one walks through years without losing something, questioning something, or breaking under something. The difference is not who struggles. The difference is who feels safe enough to admit it. When people finally stop pretending everything is fine, something unexpected happens. They stop spending all of their energy protecting an image that never truly belonged to them. There is relief in no longer performing a version of yourself that only exists to make other people comfortable. It turns out that carrying the mask is often heavier than carrying the truth. You do not have to become a different person to prove that you are healing. You do not have to smile every day. You do not have to explain every emotion. You do not have to earn the right to have difficult seasons. Being alive has always included moments like these, even if people rarely admit it out loud. Perhaps the kindest thing you can do for yourself is to stop treating every hard day like evidence that you are broken. A hard day is just a hard day. It is not a verdict about your future. It is not proof that you are weak. It is not the final chapter of your story. People often believe that healing begins when life becomes easier. More often, healing begins when you stop fighting the fact that today is difficult. That acceptance does not make the pain disappear. It simply stops turning one difficult day into two. Maybe that is what those words really mean. It is okay to not be okay right now. Not because staying hurt is the goal. Not because pain should become your identity. Simply because pretending has never healed anyone. The world will keep asking whether you are doing better. It will keep expecting simple answers to complicated feelings. It will keep rewarding people who look strong, even when they are exhausted inside. You do not have to follow that script. Some seasons are not meant to show how strong you look. They are meant to remind you that being human has never required you to look strong all the time. Years from now, you probably will not remember every difficult morning or every night you questioned yourself. You will remember that there was a version of you who kept moving, even when life felt heavier than anyone else realized. That person deserved more kindness than criticism. Perhaps that person still does. And maybe that is enough for today.